Hello everyone, back to tuning in for the 5th Autumn 2023 update from GavsWeatherVids. So here we go again, it's time to bring you some more autumn data, and I'll get on with that for you in a moment. Just to say that the first video release today was our 6 AM UK weather forecast. Got a 10 to 14 day coming up to you later on, and we're live streaming at 6 PM this evening. So Sunday live streams are back, and we'll be doing some long range on that one, of course. So I shall see you a little bit later on for that. Please like, share and subscribe on all of today's videos. Thank you so very much everybody for doing that. Thank you so to Richard for the wonderful autumn updates gift number 1. We've got 2 autumn gifts this season. So thank you so much for the gift number 1, Rich. Thank you so much, my friend. Now, well, I think better name the fox. I think better name the owl. Does that owl look like he's had too much magic water? I don't know. He's swaying a little bit, isn't he? Anyway, so sorry everybody. So yeah, if you would like to give a name for Mr. Fox and Mr. Owl, then post it in the comments. And when because I'm not going to do an autumn update next week because I'll be away. So when the autumn updates return in a couple of weeks, we will have a name for the Owl and the Fox. We'll do a live stream, you know, where we'll put everybody's names onto the name picker, and that's going to be great. We'll name the owl and we'll name the fox. So how does that sound, everybody? So if you've got names for the owl and also the fox, then please post it in the comments. Thank you so much, Richard, for the lovely gift. I love the autumn update gift because the colours are always so incredibly vibrant. Thank you so much, Rich. And also thanks so much to Shryan as well. Thanks so much to Shryan Broom for getting all of the years together on this update. Hashtag Team Gab, once again, working away for me and for us and for GavsWeatherVids. So thank you so much to Shryan and to Richard. Right, okay, let's crack on with the 5th autumn update then. We're going to bring you a little bit more June data for this one, and then we'll have a look at the Atlantic. So, starting off with June sunshine. It's a very, very sunny June, actually, as we see here from this page at the climate averages page at the UK Met. Obviously, all places have a sunnier than average month, but particularly so for northern and western areas, where some parts of western Scotland and southwestern Scotland and northwest England had over 170% of their sunshine. So, what a glorious month it was, wasn't it, June 2023? And it does place it within the top 10 sunniest June since 1950. So, start off with, we're going to be counting down the top 10 sunniest Junes and the autumns that follow them, starting off with 1950. So, number 10, the 10th sunniest June is 1950. The autumn of 1950, oh dear, looks rather wet, with low pressure in from off the Atlantic into Western Europe. That was a very unsettled, wet autumn that we had in 1950. I'm so sorry, buddy. Number 9, for the 9th sunniest June was 1951. 2 gloriously sunny Junes back to back there. Well, 1950 and 1951. The autumn of 1951 was quite wet across the western parts of the country and out of the Atlantic. Did, however, have an area of high pressure over Scandinavia, so we do see a bit of a Scandi high influence. However, I think the autumn of 1951 overall was quite an unsettled autumn, but not as much so as 1950. At number 8, the 8th sunniest June, we've got 1996. The autumn of 1996 looks like this. Bit of everything in this autumn, with a chopper below average heights across the north and the West Europe ridge out in the Atlantic. So I think September 96 was relatively dry, not that warm, but was quite a dryish month with quite a bit of high pressure. October was relatively mild, I think, and had some rain at times, but nothing overly dramatic. And then November was quite cold, I think, in 1996, with a couple of cold outs. I remember there was snow in November 1996, a couple of snow events here at Northants then. So, you know, a little bit of everything in that autumn. Number 7, the 7th sunniest June was 1969, the autumn of 1969, the first sort of proper anticyclonic autumn that we see here with above average heights in from the Atlantic into Western Europe, low pressure and jet stream push north. Has a dry September, I think, and October is it's very dry as well, and also a warm dry October 1960. I think it turns a little bit more unsettled though in November. Number 6, the 6th sunniest June was 1970. The autumn of 1970 was a mild autumn with high pressure south, low pressure to the north, and winds coming in from off the Atlantic. And then at number 5, we've got 2018. The 5th sunniest June was 2018. The autumn of 2018 looks like that. Quite a warm autumn, above average heights over and to the east of the country, below average heights, low pressure out to west. The winds tended to be coming up from more of a southerly direction. Then number 4, we've got 1960, and this one looks in a way similar to 1950 really, this autumn, with below average heights in off the Atlantic into West Europe, lots of low pressure. That's a wet autumn that we have in 1960. It does have a little bit of blocking as well in the high latitudes. At number 3, the 3rd sunniest autumn was 1975. 3rd sunniest June, I should say, 1975. And so the autumn of 1975 looks like that, with above average heights just to the east of the country. Has a wet September in an otherwise very dry period, but October and November then go back to the dry weather again, and the drought sort of resumes. Number 2 is 2023. Wow. So we're waiting to answer the questions about what the autumn of 2023 is going to be. That is a little bit of an error up there in the URL box. So I'm going to put in 2023 there. Number 2, the 2nd sunniest June was 2023. And so yeah, for questions need answering, and we will be releasing our autumn forecast, attempting to answer those questions on Sunday the 28th of August. And then at number 1, the 1st sunniest June, or the sunniest June, I suppose, it's 1957. That was a hot and sunny June. The rest of summer did deteriorate a lot, though. The autumn of 1957 has above average heights just out to our west. Below average heights tend to be to the east, and winds coming in from a northwesterly direction. So it has quite a wet September in 1957, and then the rest of the autumn goes a little bit more anticyclonic. So putting all of that together then, this is how all Septembers combined are looking following the top 10 sunniest Junes. Very unsettled signal for these Septembers. Low pressure from the Atlantic into the north and west of Europe. Proper wet Atlantic-driven September signal there with those years. This is how all Octobers combined are looking. Very different. Above average heights appear. So after a wet September, we get a dry October with high pressure taking over following those top 10 sunniest Junes. And then as far as all November's concerned, it goes back to low pressure again, with below average heights once more in from off the Atlantic, bringing plenty of wet and windy weather into the north and west of Europe. So you have a combination there of what looks like a cool and wet September, a warm and dry October, and then back to very wet conditions in November. Interesting. I shall say no more than that, but anybody who's been watching our long-range videos over the years will know what that relates to. Finally, this is how all autumns combine are looking following the top 10 sunniest Junes, and it's an unsettled signal for those autumns with low pressure in from off the Atlantic into West Europe. Bear in mind, October deviates and has a high pressure signal, but September and November both dominated by low pressure. Okay, so that's the first set done. I'm going to pause the video there very quickly, and when we return, we're going to be discussing the Atlantic Multi-decadal Oscillation. So I shall see you in a mo. But for part 1 of this 5th autumn update, that's it. I'm going to pause it there, and I'll see you in a second. Okay, we're back and ready to resume the 5th Autumn 2023 update from GavsWeatherVids. If you enjoyed the video so far, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much everybody for doing that. And we'll crack on now with a little bit more data. How does that sound? Thank you so much, Rich, I should say. I haven't been on the Magic Wars here, Matt Break. Don't worry. Thank you so much to Rich for the gift. We're naming the fox and the owl, by the way, so post your names in the comments. Right, okay, down to business. So this part of the video is going to be looking at the Atlantic, something a little bit different. This is how the sea surface temperature anomaly looked in the, well, across the entire world's oceans, but we're focusing on the Atlantic Ocean for this. On the 15th of May, you see we had a very warm Atlantic Ocean temperature profile there, SST anomaly, warm through the subtropical and tropical Atlantic, quite warm around Greenland Iceland, a little bit cooler over towards the eastern seaboard of the United States, not that far from a tripole as we discussed in our winter 2023-24 NEO forecast that we released back a couple of weeks ago. So quite warm Atlantic in May, but it really intensified into June. Look at that. So for the 15th of June, 1 month on, the Atlantic Ocean sea surface temperature anomalies were on fire. Goodness gracious me. With all of this red appearing through the North Atlantic and down in subtropical Atlantic, cooler again over towards the east seaboard. That is a classic tripole. We had a classic tripole feature, by the way, in June. If that had occurred in May, as intense as that, then I would have been forecast, I think, quite a strongly negative NEO for the winter of 2023-24. What could have been if that happened 1 month earlier? But anyway, we had a very warm, or a very positive, I should say, AMO in Atlantic Multi-decadal Oscillation for June. I think it's about most positive on record. May, pretty positive too. So we're going to be looking at autumns following the most positive AMO, Atlantic Multi-decadal Oscillation, May and June combinations for this second. Hold on, buddy. There we go, that's better. For this second section of the 5th autumn update, starting with 1953. So this is how the autumn of 1953 is looking, with above average heights over the northwest and central part of Europe, low pressure out in the Atlantic. So dry, a dry autumn. That one does have some cold weather in it as well, I think. We got 1960 reoccurring. We saw it earlier on when it's back again. It has cropped up a lot, I think, actually, in this season of updates. I reckon 1960 probably has been, or would at the moment be, the leading analogue. Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but it feels like it's appeared a lot through this season of updates. Anyway, autumn 1960, very, very wet with low pressure in from off the Atlantic. So a proper wet autumn there, as we discussed in the first section. Then got 1995, very positive AMO May and June combination. The autumn of 1995 has high pressure to our north and over into the east. Country low pressure is out to west. Has a wet September in 1995. Of course, we have a very hot summer, very, very hot and dry summer for the summer of 1995. September then turns wet after that hot summer. So have quite a wet September, a very dry October, and also very warm October as well. And then November is mild with a couple of little cold snaps, and also quite wet at times as well. So it's one of those analogues that doesn't tell you everything that you need to know about the autumn. You know, it doesn't give you that good an idea about that particular autumn. Every month is different. Right, then we go through to 1998. This is a cooler and wetter autumn with below average heights over to the east of the country. So September 1998 is quite wet but warm. October 98 is Atlantic driven, very wet, windy, quite stormy often. And then November, again, not as unsettled, but does have a few cold snaps actually in November of 1998. Pushing on to 2005, again, very positive AMO May-June combination. This one with above average heights over and also to the east of the country, low pressure out to west. Has a hot but quite wet September. Has a very warm October, often quite dry as well. And then November, very mild in the first half, much colder in the second half of November 2005. Winter really starts to show its hand in the second half of November 2005 with a proper cold, wintry outbreak. Just 1 month on to 2006, or 1 year on, I should say, to 2006. This was very mild autumn, warm autumn, bring up wind from a southerly direction with high pressure to the south and low pressure out to the west. So the hottest, or one of the hottest Septembers for the CET on record in 2006. It's a rain with that September. It is a very warm month. October and November also really warm as well, making for one of the warmest autumns on record in 2006. Then we've got 2010 with a very positive May and June AMO combination. This one has blocking around Greenland this autumn, and low pressure to our south and east, and winds often coming in from a northerly or northeasterly direction. My line went a little bit wonky there. So, of course, 2010, setting up the December to remember in 2010. It has about average temperatures for September, quite unsettled too, often quite mixed with some spells of rain. October 2010 is drier, but with a bit of a chill in the air. And then, of course, famously, the big freeze sets in the second half of November 2010. After a mild start to the month, it becomes bitter cold in the final week to 10 days of November 2010, and that carries on then into the December to remember, of course. 2016 shows up next. This is quite a dry and warm autumn. Has a hot September. We get to 34 degrees in September of 2016, but October and November are then drier, but also becoming cooler as well. But overall, it's a relatively dry and warm autumn in 2016. And then we've got 2017, which is a cooler, wetter autumn with high pressure again just out to the west. So this is how many recent years have been positive for the AMO. Of course, we are in the period of the warm AMO and have been since the mid-1990s. We're expecting the AMO to go into its negative phase sometime in the next 5 years or so, but at the minute, there's absolutely no sign of that. Anyway, let's get back to business. High pressure in the Atlantic, low pressure away to the east, winds coming in from a northwesterly direction. So this has a wet September in 2017. That's our last proper wet September, I think. And then also October, of course, it's a warm month, but also has some rainfall at times. We get the remains of Hurricane Ophelia in October 2017. Just for my birthday, turns the skies like a blood orange colour. And then we have a cooler November with wetter conditions at times. Few cold snaps in November of 2017. And then finally, we've got 2020. So this one is one of those strange anomalies with just lots and lots of high pressure above average heights all over the place. Low pressure is out to the northwest up here. So November 2020, or autumn of 2020, I should say, it has unsettled weather alternating. It's a little bit of a forgettable autumn, really, but it does start getting a little bit colder by the time we get into November of 2020. We start getting some little cold snaps turning up then. Generally is warmer than average autumn though. Right, so this is how all Septembers combined are looking following the most positive AMO May-June combinations. So very wet for September again. Both sets of analogues in this update indicating low pressure in off the Atlantic on average. Also, there will be years that deviate from this. We've got 2006, which was a really hot, September. But overall, it looks like September has an unsettled flavour to it, with low pressure being spells of rain. October, similar to the first set actually, the sunny June set. October turns more anticyclonic, but this time the high pressure centred much more towards Scandinavia. So more of an easterly influence or southeasterly influence. So it could be relatively warm, dry signal for a lot of those Octobers. And then November looks like that. It's a mild signal for November, although there is some blocking in the North Atlantic and going up towards Greenland, low pressure towards Scandinavia. So that's almost bringing down those cold northerly winds. But we've got high pressure to the south and low pressure cut off around the Azores. So the upshot with that is that we bring the wind up from like a southwesterly direction, I think, with a lot of those Novembers. However, one of them could show some cold snap potential. We know what happened in 2005, for example, which turned really cold in the second half of the month. And then finally, putting all of it together, this is how all autumns combined are looking, following the most positive AMO May and June combinations, with low pressure in from off the Atlantic. It's an unsettled signal overall for those autumns, but remember, every month is different, every month is varying, and noticing quite a high amount of high latitude blocking going on up here. Is that setting up for some interesting winters following quite a few of those years? Maybe, for example, we have got 1995 in the mix, we've got 2017 in the mix as well. So maybe. Yes. But let's not go there. Let's stick to autumn. Okay, we're done. Interesting update this week, I think. If you enjoyed the video, please can you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Drop a comment and let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. Thank you so very much, everybody, for doing that. Thank you so much to Richard, and thank you so much to Shryan for all of the help on this update. And that's it. Update number 5 is in the can. It's done and dusted. I'm taking a week off next week, going to Canary Islands. So no autumn update next Sunday. I'm not going to be doing an autumn update from my hotel room, if that's all right with everybody. But the 6th autumn update will be back in a couple of weeks' time, and we're going to start looking at some of the key driver data as we get into the second half of these updates. So things like the QBO, solar activity, enter, all of that is still to come. I can't say what we'll be looking at for the 6th update, but we will be moving into into the key driver data with these updates very, very soon. If you've got a name for the owl and the fox, please let me know in the comments. We'll be doing that when I get back from my holiday, naming the owl and the fox. And for this video, this 5th autumn update, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and see you a little bit later on, maybe for our live stream at 6 o'clock. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.